here. Welcome everybody to the follow-up meeting, Zoom meeting for the Arkansas Corn and Grain Sorghum Promotion Board. My name is Trent Dabbs. I'm the chairman right now, and so first thing we need to do is call this meeting to order, and we'll do a roll call real quick, just to see who's on the call. So if you uh, let us know members wise who we have with us, please.
Matt Smith,
Jason Felton,
This is Kenny Falwell. I'm here.
All right, got Matt, Jason, Kenny.
Tom
Newton,
unmute.
There we go.
Tommy.
Tommy Young.
Okay. Any other members on the call? All right. We'll go ahead and start with our agenda items. Today we're going to discuss the allocation funding to NCGA. We did make an allocation at our last meeting, or actual funded for the last meeting, but we need to know where we want to send that money to, which 18 funding we need to do. So I'll open up the floor for discussion of how we want to handle that.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I kind of called for maybe us getting back together after we hung up the last time. Was just kind of thinking about what NCGA can do for us, kind of as Arkansas farmers. We need to see an increase any way possible for what we can get for our corn. And one, I think the better things we can do to represent our Arkansas growers is maybe consider more funding to them, and want to kind of get y'all's thoughts on that and see if maybe that is something we should consider doing, is adding to the funding that we already are doing to NCGA. And I'll just kind of open it up to see if anybody has any other thoughts, if we should increase that funding.
All right, we got any other discussion on that?
I'll start. I'll just say that NCGA is a large organization. I believe they carry quite a bit of power and clout throughout the United States. I've been to a meeting here this past week, and the National Corn Growers Association chairman got up and said, corn is America's crop. And so I realize we only grow about 750 to 800,000 acres here in our state. But for those people that grow it, it's just as important to them as it is someone in Iowa that grows, that they may grow millions of acres. So I'll just say, to us, the price is just as important as it is to them. And I feel like NCGA is our arm to be able to work toward getting better markets. And so I feel like that right now they have done things that have helped us. They have been for sending letters to get additional aid to farmers in our area. And so I feel like it's a good organization that we probably need to uptick on. That's just my opinion.
This is Perry. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I thought I was muted a while ago, but I'm sorry I was a couple of minutes late. I wasn't pushing the right buttons. But anyway, I think Tommy's right. I mean, NCGA is our arm, and yes, I am the one who's tapped to attend the meetings. I'm sure along with anyone else. And as far as action teams go, I mean, there's a whole list of them, and I'm kind of leaning towards the production and sustainability. But one of the biggest uses in the past has been biofuels or ethanol. So, if we earmark some money for the ethanol or NCGA to be used towards ethanol, that's probably something we need to look at, because that's kind of it's not getting as much attention, or maybe even our own centers has not support it like we'd like to see, as farmers we'd like to see them do. So, maybe we need to put some emphasis there in terms of dollars.
I'll just say
Like
that this,
Tommy said,
go ahead.
go
Go ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead, Kenny.
This is Kenny. It's like Tommy said, we just got back from the meeting from the U.S. Grains Council, and that's all we hear. That's all we heard was ethanol, ethanol, ethanol. That seems to be about the only thing on the horizon that they think will possibly change. Not possibly, they think it will change the corn market if we can ever get this E10 increased to E15. Now, it doesn't sound like a big jump, but according to what they're telling us, it'll sure eat up a lot more bushels of corn. And that's the word that we heard all through our meeting is ethanol. So the only problem I would have with it, and it's not a big one, is we don't have an ethanol facility in the state of Arkansas. That may be hard to explain to some corn farmers, but that's still the only thing that I agree with Perry and Tommy that's where it's going. That and the sustainable aviation fuel, both. If we could ever get those enacted into a law where that is going to happen, then I think we'll see a turnaround in this corn market and soybeans. That's my thoughts on it.
The meeting that
Well,
we
these are
attended,
recommendations. They're not mandates, are they? The E15. I mean, it's
No,
not
it's not.
required,
It's not.
law.
Not now. Well, I don't know. I may have spoke out of turn. Any gasoline that you buy now pretty much has E10 in it, but I don't know that it's mandated. I think they're just doing it. That's my thoughts on it. I don't know. Can someone else tell me for sure?
it is mandated. I think that some refiners right now can get waivers, if I'm understanding it correctly, if they meet certain criteria. But I'll just say that from a history standpoint and from an educational standpoint, the meeting that I just attended, I'm on the Asia advisory team for the U.S. Grains Council. And so that has all of the Asian countries over there, China being number one, and then all of the Vietnam, the Taiwans, the Thailands, all of those, and Japan, for example. And what really stood out to me from those countries was that every one of them had a path laid out for them that they would eventually be at E15 or E20. Some of them even have a path to E100. And so we got some E85 now. My point is that the world is going to biofuels, and what they're using this for is a bridge to EVs. But they're saying now, and they're kind of pulling back on the fact that the whole world's not going to be able to go EV. So now then, if we can get E20 or E15, it will be a way to help the environment. And not only will it help the environment, the fuel itself is considerably cheaper. I went to Valley View, Arkansas, day before yesterday, and took a picture of the pumps there. And E85 is $1.79. E10, which is has 88 octane, was $1.98, and then regular fuel was like $2.20. To me, if we can get E15 put in place, it would help the whole United States as far as a consumer to have less cost in fuel to run his automobile. But anyway, getting back to the point of what you've brought up there, and I appreciate that, Jason, that you've brought that up. And it's so ironic that you brought that up with us just coming back from that type of a meeting. But I will say to you that NCGA has been, as far as I can see, been working on this for at least 15 years. And there's already 2.16 billion gallons of ethanol shipped out. I've got my notes in front of me that I took. And that equates to 142 million bushels of corn exported in liquid form. And so if they go to E15 in the that's exports, but if we go to E15 in the United States, they're saying that's another 2 billion bushels of corn that will be eaten up just domestically here. Well, I even had people say that that could even raise the median price of corn from, say, $5 to maybe $5.75, maybe even $6 corn would be and sustain us at $5. And so I guess what I'm saying is that, to me, that's what we need to do in the United States. Wouldn't cost the government anything, and we need to do that. So if the NCGA is promoting that, and we can, as a state here, help our farmers be able to do that, I think it would be good if we contributed some of their money. It's their money that we're contributing. And if we grow 750,000 acres, so much per acre is what we could say that we're going to contribute. They could know back home that they're trying to get their market higher for them. And that's a good way, as opposed to the other things that we're doing for them is telling them how to cut fertilizers and that sort of thing, how to grow it. But this is actually a good way for us to try to get it where they could sell it.
Okay. Any other discussion or any actions that we want to take on this discussion? Just for reference, when we had our funding meeting, we approved 29,500 total to NCGA, with 14,500 of that going to base funding and 15,000 going towards an action team that we choose.
So Trent, this might be an Amy
And that was
question.
production sustainability, I believe.
That's what we discussed in the funding meeting, but if we want to change that, I think we can do that.
So what are the tiers for, to get another person like Perry that gets kind of on, I don't know what we call it, Tommy, what on the board, or there, have
another delegate.
Well, what are the tiers? What's the next level of funding that we would go to? Just give us an idea. Hey, if we're going to go to this, we might as well jump all the way up to that, or it's not worth going that high. But do we know those tiers to get another delegate?
Chairman Dabbs,
Yes.
Amy, I did speak at length with National Corn Growers Association, and we do not actually have to commit any more monies to request these funds. The 15,000 could be split between two action teams, or you can do an additional if you would like for each. As far as representatives, we can turn in a request to be on that team, but their board actually will make that decision in September. So it's not a guaranteed. It's a probability, but it's not a guarantee that we'll be on that action team.
I guess, Amy, what I want to ask, and been doing this a long time, but just like for the Grains Council, years ago, we made the decision to go to a different level to be able to get 2 delegates. Well, actually, Arkansas, has 1 vote. Illinois has like 70 for the funding that they give. I guess the question is not necessarily if we're going to be on action teams, because we could be part of the NCGA and not even have to be on an action team if we didn't want to. What we're needing to know, and I think Trent's question was, what's the next level for us to get another delegate?
Now that I would have to get with her. You're correct. We have 1 delegate to Corn Congress.
Correct.
But we don't meet the qualifications for representation on Corn Congress. So I would have to reach out to her, and let me see if.
What do you mean we don't? What did you mean by that last statement? We don't meet the qualifications for representation. What's that mean?
That's just what she sent me. After we talked, she kind of sent me a guide with additional information. So if we have more questions, she did not tell me somewhere else I can find.
Well, I mean, personally,
I attended Corn.
go ahead,
Go
Perry.
ahead, Tommy. I just said, when I attended Corn Congress last July, I got to vote. Someone
Yeah.
told me I couldn't vote, so I guess that's representation.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm
I'm
not sure.
curious to know what Amy's talking about. We don't have representation.
We've got
I
one,
got to
we've
vote
got
on all
one
the
vote.
officers and everything.
Here.
Yeah,
Yes.
let me butt in there just a second. Perry, you're correct. When I was, I attended 2 or 3, 4 corn congresses and always got to vote, always voted.
We have one delegate,
Sure.
one.
Yes.
I'm looking through NCGA's website at their committees and board members. I think that's probably what she was telling Amy, is that our level of funding doesn't allow us a spot on one of the committees or the board per se.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Amy, are you trying to follow up with them now?
I am trying to pull up, yes, a link to something else here that she included, if it will come up. That is the, duties, qualifications.
So we've already agreed to send them, what did y'all say, 24.5 or 29.5?
Yeah.
29.5, yes.
Production system. Well, someone told me if you can go to 60, you get a second delegate. I don't know if that's right or not. And I don't know if that includes, I don't know where you start counting from. Is it 60 total, or is it 60 in addition to the 15 for the action teams? I guess we should have had this figured out before this call. Unless we can get in touch with someone real quick.
I guess where I would like to see this here, since this has been brought up, and I'm delighted that it has been. Wish we'd have done it the other day. Didn't think about it, but I guess what I'm saying for corn growers to think that they're going to get out of this $4 range in corn. We as a state here, for us, if we even said we're going to give $50,000 more, that's $7 an acre for what was planted last year for the corn growers of Arkansas. That would be a pretty big, in my opinion, gesture on our behalf to be able to aim that toward biofuels. Doesn't necessarily even have to be aimed at the A team, just toward that end of whatever they need to do to try to get that and promote that. And then that way we could tell the actual grower back home, hey, look, we're marketing, we're helping you try to build your market in this way. I feel like we can sustain that amount of money. So that would be what I would be looking in addition to the 29.5. Only thing is that if we're close to being able to get to that level anyway and have another delegate, if it took $80,000 or whatever, I'd be inclined to want to do that. But that's just me. So
Well, that's why I was asking if it's $60,000. Is that earmarked to action teams?
it does. I don't think it would have to be earmarked to an
Does it
action
matter?
team. It doesn't matter because they do education. They educate Congress. They educate a lot of people on ethanol and what its benefits are. They even maybe put out something.
Yeah, I mean, I got a list. There's a bunch of action teams for biofuels, community and education, production, sustainability, research and new uses, risk management, trade, transportation, animal use, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It goes on and on and on. We're focusing on, have been focusing on production and sustainability. And I guess this meeting is turning to more of a support the action team for biofuels and what level it takes to actually get us more representation.
It could be, or if you wanted to just stay in terms of what we decided the other day and leave the action team that you aspire to alone and just give them additional money to aim it toward the the biofuel part, let them make the decision without us having to earmark it to a certain thing. We could do that as well. And that's what I would be inclined to want to do because they know best how they need to spend the money.
So Tommy, let me clarify. Are you
I agree
saying
with
maybe
that.
give all that to the base? If we're going to add more, put it on the base, then they can figure out how they want to go. And
That's just me. If this has been brought up, I mean, let's don't take a noose around their neck, and because they may think, hey guys, we could use that money right now to foster the market better. I don't know.
Chairman Dabbs. This is Amy. I have not been able to get a hold of her just now, but from the information she sent, there appear to be two different things that we're talking about. So there's corn delegates, and that's the one that she said, yes, we have a voting delegate. But then there's also the action team. And we can request to have representation on those action teams. So they're two separate things.
Yes.
So, okay, I just want to make sure.
Correct.
That's the same way it is with the Grains Council. I know more about it than I do NCGA, but the Grains Council, we have our base funding with them, and then we have two delegates to the Grains Council, and we can request to be on an action team, which I requested to be on Asia. I think Kenny, what are you on, Kenny?
Western Hemisphere.
We can request to be on those, but that's not a guarantee that we'll be on them just because we're giving them money. So
I think our question is, Amy, is to get the second delegate in Corn Congress that can vote. What level of funding, if we're currently at 29.5, what level of funding is the next tier to get us that second person? I think is what we're wanting to try to figure out.
That's the question, correct.
And I can get with her. I am not reaching her right now. I have tried to call and text her, but I can find that out. But the link that she gave me right now is not working.
Well, hey, Trent, can I make a suggestion then? Tommy, maybe we want to wrap up if we want to do any additional funding, for the due to the base program, and maybe we table this for a minute and go to our next agenda items. And maybe by that time, Amy's maybe heard back from them. Then we could follow back, and if not, we could come up with a number. And if Amy finds out later, we might have to get back together and make it a change again. But give a few minutes for them to see if maybe they get back a hold of Amy.
Whatever Trent wants to do.
Yeah, I mean that's fine with me. We can table it for now and move on to our other two items. And if Amy gets a message back, then we can swing back and revisit that before we adjourn. So everybody good with that? Tabling it right now. We need a motion to do that.
Tommy, do you have any additional contacts that might could answer that question?
I'm calling. I'm doing it right now. I'm texting right now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm motioning the table for a minute if that's what we need, or just go on, come back to it.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that, and let's move on and cover our other two, and then hopefully we'll get an answer shortly, and we'll be able to hit that before we adjourn. Next on our agenda is the Export 2026 Export Exchange update, and I think, Tommy, you're going to handle that.
Yeah, let me finish this text.
Okay.
It won't take me a second. I'm just putting on here. I need to know how much money NCGA needs from Arkansas to have two delegates. That's all we kind of ask, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, I guess we need to know
Two delegates
is that
to Corn Congress, I guess.
Yeah, two delegates to Corn Congress.
And do we have to contribute that amount to base funding, or is that a total
I'll find
contribution?
out. I think it's the contribution, but I don't know. Have two delegates to Corn Congress.
Chairman Dabbs, actually,
Yes.
we did some information, and so it's three criteria. One is number of grower association members in the state as of last September. And then the second is state corn production on a 3-year average basis at the end of the previous crop year. And then checkoff dollars invested by the state in NCGA as of September 30 previous year. And then the corn board establishes the delegate number annually.
Okay, I've sent this contact I have, the same thing, and maybe that answered it that Amy got anyway. Irregardless, I think, are you wanting to just, are you wanting to send extra money to them or not? I mean, is it gonna matter whether what we have this or not? I mean, I think that's the question we need to ask.
No, I think I'm for sending them the extra money, and it looks to me like there's so many different categories involved. It is we probably ought to just come up with our new level of base funding. We want to try to do more, make a motion if somebody's got an idea, and we can discuss that. And then I think this will be a conversation we're going to have to continue to have of, based on the other criteria, where are we? And that sounds like one of those things will either fall in place or it won't.
Where are you, Perry? What's your thoughts? How much you want to send them?
I had a good thought, and then you call me by name, and I forgot them all. Yeah, I guess my question is, who sets the base funding? If 29.5 includes the 15 that we were kind of earmarked for sustainability and production, or production and sustainability, the 14.5, where'd that number come from?
That's the base funding.
I know, but who came up with that number?
NCGA,
That's some
I would
arbitrary
assume.
number. Is that?
No,
No,
they
that-
have,
They essentially
That is the
send us a
request.
bill. Say Arkansas needs to send us 14.5 every year to be involved with NCGA.
right.
Anything we do over and above that, it goes towards an action team or another cause or whatever. So that 14.5 is something they bill us with or suggest every year.
Chairman Dash.
Yes.
Yes, that is correct. That is when they sent their proposal in this year for consideration. The 14.5 for base is what they requested, and then the 15 was for an action team. So that is what they requested. The information I also says they'll work with us to assist us to qualify for more representation for the Corn Congress. So we can find out what additionally they might need or want, how that would work.
So 50,000 has been mentioned, and ethanol has been mentioned. Is there any way to make a motion to, I guess, send 50,000 and put emphasis on ethanol or biofuels, but if they need it in another area, they're welcome to use it there?
Sounds good.
Possibility?
Sounds good to me if it does the group. And then if Amy comes back to us and says, "Hey guys, if we just sent them 55,000, we could have had 2 delegates. We can always come back and add 5 more to it." But anyway, that's bids were in the dark.
It sounds like there's more hoops to jump through, and it's all dated from last September, so we're kind of in the middle of a cycle. So that may be something we need to look at moving forward. But just for today's business, whatever I just said, I'll try to say it again in form of a motion. And if that's what y'all would like for me to do, and then Amy can be trying to figure out, or we can reach out to our contacts, find out what it takes to get more representation.
Perry, you're the man. When you get to doing this and going to what you're going to, you can figure it out and let us know.
Well, I don't mind taking that on. So yeah. So you want me to make that motion? You want me to, whatever I said a while ago, you want me to try to restate it and make it in form of a motion?
Yes, if you got a motion, let's go with
Okay.
that.
All right, so correct me when I mess up, and I will. I'll make a motion to send NCGA an additional $50,000. How do I say that?
Earmark to base funding?
Earmark. Well, no, it should be earmarked towards an action team.
Or biofuels in general.
We'd like to be we'd like to be seeing it used in biofuels, but if the funding is needed in other categories or action teams,
I wouldn't earmark
use
it
it
to an
there.
action team. I just
Okay.
earmark it to biofuels in general, and then they can do what they want to with it.
Okay. We're
So-
earmarking towards biofuels.
Just
But
for,
I don't understand. I don't understand the base funding. I don't understand the base funding as part of my dilemma here. Is that just where's that number
So-
coming from? Besides,
so that NCGA comes up with that number, and that 14.5 will go to salaries, whatever they deem administrative expenses, basically, is what
okay,
I think it
all
goes
right.
to.
So did they bill it in 2027? Did they say, well, Arkansas is good for 50,000 towards base funding,
Yeah.
so we're going to hit
I
them
mean,
with
that's a
50,000
possibility
instead of
for sure.
14.5.
But I imagine how they figure the base. They figure out each state's production,
Yeah.
and then they scale the base based off of each state's production.
They've
Exactly.
got a formula that they
Yep.
use to come up with that.
I
Dabs,
agree.
Yes.
that allocation was actually set by their board in December 2025. NCGA's.
I am sort of concerned with what one of y'all mentioned, that if we jump out today with a huge amount, what's the limit there ask in the future?
We don't have to earmark it even to base funding. We can give
Yeah,
NCGA anything
I
we want
understand
to.
that.
Yeah.
So 30,000, basically 29.5 is what we've given them. And I'm as pro ethanol as anybody on this Zoom. I promise you that. I've been for 20 years. I don't know, 50. I mean, I'm good with 50, but if 30 got you one delegate, surely another 30 is going to get you another delegate.
I
You see
don't
what-
think it, I don't think it will. We've tried that before. And
I
we
got
may be way out. We may be so far out there, we'll never get another
I
delegate.
got you. I understand.
It may be 120,000 or
I
something.
got you. Well, experience that speaks more than me. So I
That's
appreciate
where I'm
that
coming from.
comment.
We tried this before in the past,
I
and it
got
was
you.
so far out there that, we just knew that and I'll just say this about NCGA over the years. You all, years ago, NCGA's policies and what we did here was a little bit bumped heads. It bumped.
Yeah.
They're more in line with us now than they ever have been. And so because in the past, we barely even wanted to be a part of them. And I'm talking years ago.
I mean, in the past, a lot of organizations in the state of Arkansas were anti-ethanol. So, and I can see where they were bumping heads for sure.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Matt, you made a good point. I think in this motion, Perry, we
Yeah.
might want to put, just to cover our ass, we might want to put in something in there that before we commit that we have Amy make sure that we don't get ourselves locked in to, make sure they do have a formula that is not going to, if we go to, another 50 where we're at 80,000, that, they can't come back next year and say, well, now you got to be at 80. I think, Matt, that's kind of what you brought up earlier. This might just, we just want to know, hey, this is
I'm willing to give whatever, I'm willing to give
I'm
whatever the
gonna-
amount is. I just don't want it to.
Yeah, we don't want to lock
anything.
anything in
To
on
lock
the future.
anything
Just make
in.
sure we're going to keep
Exactly.
our same base funding based on the same formula and make sure they understand this kind of a special deal we're doing this year. If we need to do it again, we can, but just make sure they don't come back next year and say, well, now you got to do 80 to, stay in the game.
I guess
Let
what
me
I'm
restate my motion.
I guess what I'm going to say one thing before you state it. To me, we're in a unique time here in agriculture. The agriculture's in the dumper. We've got stuff out there that could help it. So it's very unique. And so I think what we're doing here is special to the event, but that's not to say that next year, if we find ourselves in a position to be financially able to do it, that we would not do it, but we don't, like Matt said, want to lock ourselves in here. And I don't think what we're doing here today has anything to do with creating the base funding formula.
I agree.
It's just letting them see that, yeah, we're able to pay it, but we may not necessarily want to do it next year. And so I think if you put that in that motion in that way, I think they're going to be I think they're going to be happy with us being able to contribute that for the cause that we're trying to do.
I agree. Maybe,
Okay, I wrote something else, so
maybe
let me see if I can read it.
use the language of a one-time earmark towards biofuel of X
There you
amount.
go. I
Okay.
like that, Matt.
Let me try. Let's try this. All right, so I'm a motion to give $50,000 to NCGA action teams in quotation marks weighted towards biofuels for other needed areas.
I wouldn't put action teams in it.
I wouldn't put that. I would just say earmark towards biofuels. To be honest.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't make them have to tie it to action teams.
Well, it sounds like we got action teams or base funding, and we don't want to be involved in base funding because there's an outside chance they may think we're $65,000 a year base fund now.
No, we're not setting that, Perry. I think you can just put down there.
I know, but I mean,
Yeah,
y'all think
one-time
we can, I
contribution.
thought y'all were concerned about it.
I'd put one-time contribution and aim it toward biofuels and be done with it. Special.
All right,
We call it even
so-
special. You know.
All right, so $50,000 to NCGA, scratch action teams, but y'all don't like weighted towards biofuels either.
yeah, I like that. I don't like or any other y'all deem where it's needed.
Okay, scratch that then.
I
All
like
right, $50,000 to NCGA,
earmarked for biofuel.
special.
There you go. And call it a special.
Special.
Yes.
Big
Special
beautiful
contribution.
earmark.
Contribution.
That's what
right.
the word I'd use is contribution, yeah.
Absolutely.
Contribution to NCGA, to be weighted towards biofuels.
Yes.
That'd be fine.
Okay. All right, so I'll make a
I'll
motion to I can't read my own writing now. What did we say? $50,000 contribution to NCGA to be weighted towards biofuels.
Special contribution. I put
Would
the
you-
word special.
That's right. I
Special,
started to say,
$50,000
I'd put special,
special.
I sure would.
Okay, special contribution to NCGA to be weighted towards biofuels. That doesn't sound right to me, but we all know what it means.
Sounds good to me. Does it you, Matt?
Okay.
Is it good to you, Matt?
Yep,
Sound
sounds
good?
good.
All right.
All right, there you go then.
So we've got a motion on the floor to, now I just want to be clear, this is an additional 50,000 on top of the 29.5 that we've already approved.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So the motion on and we want to do this immediately for FY26. We don't want to wait till 27, correct?
No, now.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor to contribute 50,000 additional funds to NCGA, especially towards biofuels, basically.
You could
That'll
say
work. Yeah.
promotion of biofuels. How about that? Because that's what we're doing. This
Okay.
is promotion.
Amy, you got that where you can write that down, our thoughts?
She had it 10 minutes ago.
Oh.
If you're
All right,
looking for a
Here we go.
second,
An
I'll
additional,
second
all
it.
right, let me try. I'm taking notes too. So I make a motion to send an additional $50,000, another additional $50,000 special contribution to NCGA to promote biofuels.
Absolutely. Perfect. Amen.
There you go. All right, so we got a motion. Do we have a
That
second?
weighted towards doesn't sound right to me.
No.
Second, or
I'll second it. Trent.
So we got Kenny got a second on Perry's motion. Is there any other discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Ah,
Uh,
All those opposed, no. All right, motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the export exchange update. Tommy?
I've been talking with Amy. She and I have been working really well on this, and I'll just say that the ladies and staff at U.S. Grains Council were delighted that we were being proactive toward export exchange because they haven't even sent out the criteria yet for it. But we agreed on $15,000 to send to export exchange like we've always done. They got the word that we were going to do that. And so they had already set up their tier levels for that. And they had raised those tier levels a little bit. They had 10, 20, and 30. Well, make a long story short, they told us and told me personally, and I conveyed it to Amy, and I think they emailed Amy as well, that we would not have to send any more. The 15,000 is fine. They appreciated it very much. And we've always been the farmer in the group. And that's how they worded it. Said we're the farmers there, not just the industry. And so they liked it that we're there. And so that made me feel good too, because I felt like, well, we had a purpose. And so I'm excited to get to be able to represent or to have Arkansas at Export Exchange like we've had for many years. And then Amy and I have talked, and we have certain things that we can get as a promotional item for Export Exchange, like we might buy a coffee break, or we might buy key cards for the doors or things of that nature. Well, one item that is available now, and by us being so proactive, it's still available, is the lanyards that you put around your neck to have your name badge. So these 300 people across the world literally will come there and get a lanyard. We can have Arkansas corn and grain sorghum insignia and language on the lanyard. And then I had suggested to Amy, and I think it can be worked out because we even used it at the last export exchange, a QR code. We can make this QR code and embellish it with just lots of information about Arkansas, what kind of state we have, what we have, lake, streams, whatever. Then we can also put in there what we sell. Uh, Tyson, we could put in there Rice and Foods. We could put in all this chock full of stuff in that QR, which we last year we gave it out in the form of a card. But what I was going to see if it works out, we could have this QR code imprinted right beside our logo on this lanyard. And so that way, when they go home, they could just take their phone, hook up to that, and they'd learn all about Arkansas. So, what better way of spreading Arkansas across the world than that? So, that's kind of what Amy and I have chosen, but we wanted to run that by you all and get your thoughts before we just truly committed. But other than that, it's just a good thing. I believe it's a way of waving Arkansas's flag with a minimal amount of cost. And Amy, where's it going to be at this time? I didn't even know. Is it Portland?
Seattle.
Seattle. Okay.
Do you have a cost of what that would be?
I think, Amy, is that included or we have to pay extra for those?
No, that's in fact, we get that at the, she gave us basically the $20,000 package for our $15,000. And so with that, we'll get a complimentary booth, we get a conference attendee list, registration. We also, in addition to the lanyards, several things we could pick from there. We also will have a networking break that we'll get recognition for.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
It's really good. And one thing, Amy, I was going to bring up to you, when I went to Vietnam, you all gave me a bunch of those little rocks. You know, it's like a little card, and it had a little rock with you could put it on your lapel or your tie, but it was literally like a pebble. And it says, I'm from Little Rock, or whatever it says, Little Rock, Arkansas. Those people would flock to me to get those little rocks. And so if you can come up with that, we ought to take some of them. But anyway, that's the report on Export Exchange. I'm delighted that we jumped out there and did it for 15 and we're getting all the stuff, which would normally have cost 20 if we'd have probably waited a month or so. So is that the way you see it, Amy?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, any other questions for
Sounds good to
Tommy
me.
or?
I guess Mr. Chairman, if
Go
it be
ahead.
all right with you, ask for a motion to approve the discussion about Export Exchange, and then that way it gives Amy and even myself some latitude, and it's okay what we're gonna do, what we've discussed, you know.
You putting that in the form of a motion or somebody else want to do that?
I would ask for that motion if you would see that would be, I don't think it's really necessary, but I'd like to have it where we could say that we discussed it. And then when we bring all this stuff before it, that we know that it's all right with you guys, because you guys need to be okay with it. You know, we can't just take it upon ourselves to do certain things.
Well, if that's the
I'll make the
motion,
motion, Trent.
yeah, I'll second it for Kenny then.
So Kenny made a motion that we approve doing the lanyards. And anything else that we discussed in that export exchange period there. So we got Kenny and Jason had a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Uh,
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, last item on our agenda is the communications group funding. They presented to us at our funding meeting, and I guess I neglected to get a motion to decide if we need to approve their services for another year. Amy, if I remember, I believe it was $8,000. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. 2,000 is for hosting the website, and then the other 6 is for maintenance fees throughout the year. And any additional work we, have that they do on it.
And it sounded like things have gone really well after our last year's conversation with them, correct?
They're very responsive to requests that we send. Now, one of them building out additional pages or something, those are other costs, but
sure.
and making just the basic changes we need, yes, they're very responsive.
Yeah, so I'll make that motion that we approve that funding, Trent.
Okay, got a motion from Jason
I'll
to
second
approve
it.
the
Tommy,
second
second.
second from Tommy to approve the $8,000 yearly fee to the communications group. Any other discussion?
Yes, I'd like to ask Amy, is there any movement on the department creating anything yet?
No, there is not any changes there.
Okay, when that ever does come, you'll let us know in advance, and then we could, if we need to modify off of the communications group, we could, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
For them to modify, there would need to be more money. And so one thing that you all did ask, no, the department has not moved in that direction yet. If they do, yes, we will definitely let you know. But you all had requested an additional list be added to the website at one point. At the grain dealers. I believe it was maybe not in the last meeting, the funding meeting, but the one before. We did check into that, and if that is something you all want to pursue, there would be an additional cost to do that with communications.
What kind of list was it? You broke up.
Of grains dealers.
To make a list for sellers of corn, and we as a department publish a publicly available grain dealers list. So we thought we could rope that into your website, but communications group explained that would require more money to make a page like that.
And then if we get above, what is it, 10 or 12,000, we have to go through
procurement.
Yes, if it gets above a certain amount, we have to go to through procurement.
I say we just keep it at 8.
What would it do just to put a sentence on, can you put a sentence on there to say, for grain dealer list, look at the ag department's website?
I can't believe they would charge us more money than add a link, but anyway.
Well, it just to be fair, it may have been how I laid out the idea. So it says for farmers, and I was suggesting for buyers, like making a whole new page for buyers that looped in our list, but here I am racking up y'all's invoice.
Yeah, I think if there was just a link to y'all's list of dealers would be satisfactory.
More than adequate.
Absolutely. And I'll say this to you, Caleb, that would be a good thing. That would be, if it could be linked there for export exchange, because if they go to our website, then they would see that too. That'd be another way of getting this list of people out. So, but that's one thing, like I say, I want to reiterate that this QR code, that list that you've got needs to be embellished in that QR. We need to really make that QR full as much as we can.
Okay, yes, and they can definitely add a link to our website. What we had asked them about was putting like a whole nother tab at the top that had the grain dealers. So that's why it would have been more, because it would have been a bigger build out. But we can definitely add a link to our site.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second on the floor to approve $8,000 for the communication group fee for this coming year. Any other discussion? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, any other old business that needs to come before the board? Any new business that we have? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion
I
to
will ask
adjourn.
a question. Who all is going to Commodity Classic?
I'm not.
I am.
Okay. Is any of the soybean board going, Amy?
I know Brad Doyle is. I'm not sure if there's any others going or not.
Or is any staff from the ag department going?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, seeing no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Hey, hold on one second, one second, time out. I'll be flying to Commodity Classic if anyone wants to go with me, so. I'm leaving probably Wednesday and coming back Saturday.
That's
I'll
awesome.
just throw that out there.
Thanks, Perry.
All right, I'll talk to him again. I don't know who's going, but as far as I know, I'm gonna take 4 or 5 more people with me. No problem.
All right, with that,
All right, that's all I had.
Thanks.
got a
Perry.
motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All
Good
right,
meeting.
thank you guys. I appreciate you coming on and getting that handled. Thank you, Miss Amy, for setting it up for us and getting it done.
All right.
Thank you
Brent.
all for who
Appreciate it,
did it.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Recording stopped.